John, I know your papa house right now. Don't you break my heart. It is say you go free like that. Papa, I don't own a house right now. See that statue right there on a house. I did your house. I even tie your towel. Your papa sweet. We move.
All right. They say last, everybody go chop breakfast, right? That's the slang that you hear after a heartbreak these days. Why does heartbreak hurt so much? Studies have shown that your brain registers the emotional pain of heartbreak in the same way as physical pain, which is why you might feel like your heart is causing actual physical pain. So is revenge a good bounce back for heartbreak? I mean, if you could counsel your younger self, what message will that be, and how well do our Gen Z understand the subject of love and heartbreak? I mean, this video, I find it very distasteful, but it's something that we must address. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Who am I coming to first?
Uti.
Why is she giving me a straight face? So for me, I think when I saw this video, because it went viral, I was wondering, what is the person saying? You don't know how you see things on Instagram on your Explore page. I didn't put the audio until I started seeing the video everywhere. So, you know what, let me listen in. Like, first of all, where are we as a people? I mean, heartbreak in those days. Somebody breaks your heart, you just go, you cry. You not listen to. You listen to this music. What do they call this thing? Boys to Men.
No, if I was Sinead O'Connor, all those songs.
Now, Boys to Men, they listen to that time. Those yellow ones, what's their name?
Which yellow ones?
It's not Boys to Men, not the black one. Backstreet
Boys.
But if I let you, you'll be crying. You'll be crying.
But you get over.
But now, it is actually alarming for me when I see young people on Instagram and the kinds of things I hear them say. Is it that, one, they do not understand the subject of love, or they don't even understand? Because how would you say, because your heart is broken, you now go ahead to sleep with your partner's or your ex-partner's father or maybe brother or something? Does it even make sense?
She look heartbroken to you?
She's not. That's what I'm saying.
Look, she don't look heartbroken.
She don't look obviously.
She catching trips.
I think.
And
the video is very disturbing is the word for me.
Very.
I'm
Extremely.
actually disturbed that if this is how people interpret, or this generation, and I don't want to generalize here, but if this is the perception of this generation, then it calls for us to really reevaluate our values and what we believe in. Because I don't want to believe that situations are this bad. I'm finding it very difficult to believe that. I mean, heartbreak for one, and that's why researchers have attributed it to literally your heart being ripped out, because it comes with some level of physical pain. So it can be heavy. It's a very strong emotion to go through, right? But being able to now interpret it in such a way as to revenge in this manner, I don't know. I'm actually lost for words right now because it's a lot. When hormones are released, right? When people feel these emotions, it's easy. It's a time for you to process. But I don't think this person has even processed what she has been through. Right? For you to go ahead and go to the extent of a father and put it on social, now that's even the part that I can't relate to.
It just goes to show that values have been eroded in this context. Because for you to do this, then also feel good about talking about it, and also doing what's it called? Showing the picture of
video.
Everything, and saying that the daddy was sweet. I think it is so distasteful to listen to and to watch, the values of that girl should be questioned. And the values of, like Norma said, let's not generalize it, but some people's value, some people they have a problem with, expressing themselves. And this comes from response and reaction. Response could be, okay, this has happened to me. I can go back home and cry and feel good about it, or I cry about it and, move on from there. But reaction is now you going out of your way to
do something like a revenge.
To do something like revenge. And once that revenge sets in, that, oh, I will show him pepper, I will show her pepper, that is where you actually
you can't even rationalize what you can do.
Now your emotions, at that particular point in time, the emotions are haywire. And that's why they tell you, when, according to research, that you do not react when you're upset, or you do not react when you feel too happy. What you're supposed to do is to take a step back and think about it before, yes, you take a step back and you think about it before you react. Now, she didn't even think. She didn't even process it. She just reacted. At the end of the day, who will be blamed? The father or the girl?
It's not even me. I'm not even looking for blame. I was going to even say to Issy that you're always arguing that this thing that we say morals have been eroded. These morals have been eroded is even a questionable statement. But let me come to you, Uti.
Yeah. And I love Issy has tried to break it down to some modicum of technicality. Normally I bash Gen Z. I'm sorry, guys. But I don't even think this is a Gen Z problem. The girl, this is just an outlier.
Just about her.
This is an outlier.
Oh.
She was having fun. It's a different thing when you go, oh, I'm so heartbroken, I'm sad, and I'm having a reaction. So when I was listening to what you were saying, I'm thinking, she doesn't even fit that bill of response reaction. She just looks like, how does NASA call it? Anyhowness. And I just want to, do you get what I mean? So for me, I'm like, you have, where I would come, or the angle that I would come from is just the way we've seen degradation in the education sector. This is the degradation in everybody must have children. Nobody's raising children. Because when we talk about values and morals and whatever you want to call it, the issue that I have there is you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to have something to give. And that is the whole concept of parenting. Does this person look like somebody that has sat down to have conversations about life with her mother? Does she seem like that kind of person?
To me, we all have challenges where we see we've been parented by our parents, correct? But we get to that level where we now decide, okay, what my parents must have taught me was not right, or was not what I wanted to do in the first place. So what do? I retrace my steps.
So you are taking responsibility.
No, you're even coming from the perspective that maybe her parents even taught her something. If you think that it is okay in any guise as a human being to retaliate at a boy for breaking your heart by sleeping with his father, you didn't have values to start off with. You are just existing. You are just meat with legs, breathing air. That's the only way to explain it. Because no matter how offended, I mean, we say it all the time, women, yes, we can be emotional. She's not, so she wasn't, if she was angry in the video, I would even say maybe she wasn't even angry, she was having fun. So this was like, those things that you watch it, it's so crazy, then somebody comes back and tells you, no, it was a skit. Then you go, oh, okay. She wasn't angry. This was, when you're retaliating, there's anger that comes through you because you're so angry.
Uti, if I may come in there.
But how do we even handle heartbreaks?
If I may come in there, people process anger in different ways. For some people, they're able to express their anger. So you see it immediately. They tell you,
like me,
I don't, they're able to
I'm angry, you shall know.
There are others who go quiet when they're angry. So they suppress their emotions. While some others do become irrational in their thinking. So I'm thinking through this video and I'm seeing the possibility of this young lady being in that category of people who, like Issy said, react, they don't respond. Now there's a difference. When you respond to a situation, that means you've processed what the situation is, and then you've found out what is the possible, most likely solution to solve that problem. But for people who react, they act before they think. So I want to see this young girl as probably one of those people. I would agree with you, she's probably an outlier, where something happens and she says, I cannot be the only person who will feel hurt in this thing. I'm going to get back at you. And without even thinking about it, she finds a way to get across and do it in such a... She probably knows this young man well enough to know what would have hurt him.
It's
right?
possible.
It's possible. So she goes right for something that he probably would not have imagined that she was going to go that far. She decides to put it up on social media to say, okay, yes, right back at you.
So that means she was irrational enough to be rational.
Because there are people out there. Let me ask a question though. How did you handle heartbreak? Because there's a part of this conversation, a message to your younger self. Because if you understand, I think sometimes people need to understand. If you look in retrospect, there were some things that were not necessary. The other one is necessary. Like it was not necessary at all. Because if you understand, right, heartbreak and all of that, you would know that. See, give or take, yeah, it might really hurt at that moment. But you see, when you look back down and I say, thank God, certain things did not even happen. So if you had a message to your younger self, because a lot of young people are watching, right? And I'm wondering, how do you people even process things like this? You know, if you had something to say to your younger self about heartbreak, what would that be?
I think having seen life to the extent that I've lived, I would say that it's not that serious. One. Number two is, I would quote Eleanor Roosevelt when she said that no one has the permission to make you feel less of yourself without you permitting that, without your permission. No one has a right to make you feel less of yourself without your permission. It is how I see myself and how I had to break. I had heartbreaks, but not probably more with the or how do they say it? With not the opposite sex, right? I had friends who broke my heart. Literally, I was heartbroken. But when I was introspected, I decided that, look, friendship is not by force. And that's what I want to tell the Gen Z. Love yourself to the extent that somebody cannot make you feel less of yourself. If they don't like you, there's somebody. There are 2 billion people in this world, for crying out loud. All of them can hate you. So go find the people that appreciate you for who you are. You don't have to change yourself for anybody. And now if you say no, I tell you thank you, and I move on to the person who will love me for who I am and appreciate the value that I bring to the table, because it's not everybody that understands your makeup. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. How about you, Lucy? Okay, go ahead.
You know, like you said, it's not that serious. I know when we're younger.
So
let's not start like this. We just came like this.
Sister, I said I go cry.
No, I know that. Do you remember old cassettes? Do you remember cassette tapes?
Oh, sure.
The mixtapes.
of them.
You will play that mixtape. You said yours was Backstreet Boys. You know, maybe older.
Although
Sinead O'Connor.
To the end of the road.
Everything slow and painful. And you know the thing then was that when boys used to toast
So
you,
you could go.
yeah.
That's it.
Did you ever toast those boys that made you a mixtape? That would make you a mixtape of songs. You played. How could you do this to me? But I mean, wisdom is great. Get older, guys. It gets better. Wisdom is great because now we can sit here and go, oh, it's not that serious. So at that time, it literally felt like you were dying. And the funny thing was that you were younger. So really and truly, it was really not that serious. Like how many people got married to the people they dated back then? Really? Very small percentage. So it was never that serious. But you would, and you know, we didn't have mobile phones then. So you would see your friend, you guys probably sit on the steps of your house or in front of your gate and you will talk.
Will fall, don't worry. Everything will be all right.
You know, then depending on which part of education you are in, don't worry, when we see him tomorrow, we'll blank him. Like, there used to be all these fun things. But the truth was, you know, the younger you are, I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. I said, I don't think I feel emotions as strongly as I did when I was younger. Then it felt like your whole world, your chest was beating right, your heart was beating right out of your chest. You were, you know, so nervous you couldn't speak because you liked a guy. But now that we're older, we can give some sage advice. I second what Norma said. It's not that serious.
Not that
but
serious.
the truth is, you have to be able to process your emotions. It's not
Very important.
the rational, like I said, the rational part of you needs to take control, and you need to manage your pain.
Yeah.
Depending on how much you like the person, it can be quite traumatic. But you can't have and I know we all have to resist the urge, because today it's not real if it's not on social media. So you feel like, I want to document it, then I want to post it, and there's no end of platforms, and all the social media in-laws and sisters and cousins, aunties, everybody's waiting to jump on your matter. But we have to remember, like I said, we're moving further away from the point where whatever you post on social media is there for 5 minutes. This is her looking for 5 minutes of fame. Welcome to the Big Brother generation.
Yeah. You know, I was going to say, because I'll come to you, Isi, but we need to go on a very short break. I was going to ask that, what is the role of social media in dealing with heartbreak? You know, you mentioned something very profound. You said your feelings are not as strongly as when you were younger. You're not so emotionally. So I am thinking, is it that too much exposure to social media has made a lot of these people emotionless? Because you can see in her face, she's not angry. She's unperturbed. So is it that we are raising young people now that, I mean, in our days, man, boy, break your heart. Oh God, you go cry for 1 month, you see they cry. Then if you see something that just reminds you of the boy, the cry will resume. But now you don't see those kinds of emotions anymore. It's like everybody is transactional. It's like there's no real feeling of, feeling that emotions anymore. Is it social media? You know what? Let us go on a very short break. We'll be right back. Now, if you just tuned in, it's our ladies' night out, and we're asking, if you had something to say to your younger self on heartbreak, what would that be? And what's your message to Gen Z when it comes to issues of emotions and heartbreak? How would they express? And let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open. Biko, as always, turn off the volume of your television set when you're calling. Turn it off completely so we can hear you. The number to call is 07025007749. That's the number to call. So before I want to break, I asked about the role of social media in dealing with heartbreak. And I'd like to hear, Isi, your thoughts. Because it seems like we are actually breeding young people that are emotionless. Like when I see a lot of young people, maybe they've seen too much. So they're very stern. You don't see that, a girl is a girly, that kind of, it's not there anymore. Everybody is just transactional. Oh yeah, what are you giving me for the love? If you're not giving me anything for that, I move. It's crazy.
Like you said, it's transactional. And because it's transactional, they tend to take it, they don't tend to take it to heart. Why? Because the values we have has changed. Uti, it has changed. Back then, you said something about when you see a boy you like, your emotions are all over the place. You just want to just looking at the boy alone, you're already melting. But today, when the girl is looking at the boy, he's looking at money. She's looking at money. She's looking at, what am I going to gain out of this relationship? Is he going to marry me? Is he going to give me money? How much will he give me? It's all about what I'm getting out of it. It's not about giving anymore. It's about getting. Now, if you recall a story about a girl who talked about the fact that she was in a relationship and she got her heart broken. And she said if she had dated someone, this happened a while back, if she had dated someone and the person was paying her monies for it, that she at least should have seen what she got out of it. So that is the mindset most of the girls are having today. And aside from that, it is not about love. It's about, what am I getting out of it?
In return, Oge from Lokoja.
No emotion.
A woman? Oh, wow.
Hi, Oge.
Hi.
Hello.
Own experience about heartbreak. Guys decided or excuse us because I was so confused.
Oh.
He wanted me to be very, out there. At the time, I know I was
Okay, it's so difficult to hear you. Sorry, please, if you can call back. The network is really muffled. Sorry, we can't make sense of what you're saying.
I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead, please.
This one is from Ufoma. Ufoma says, Uti, speaking as a guy, it's not every female you date as a man, right? There are lots of females, but very few worthy of being taken seriously. The girl in that video is for the streets.
Hell.
Sadly, this is what most guys have to pick from. The ex-boyfriend is definitely Raz, like her, and belongs to her socio-economic class.
Yes, sir. That's
Oh,
deep.
wow.
Very. Wait. With the bullets. Let's soak it in. Ufoma with the bullets. Shots fired.
As in direct.
Ufoma,
Shots fired.
you're not nice. Charles from Port Harcourt. Let's hear what you have to say.
Hello, good evening, Iwa.
Hi, Charles.
If we have a nice topic here today.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know. The thing is that lately everything has been transactional. I mean, nobody falls in love again. It's just how much you can bring, what you have. I mean, is it happening? I say, is the guy okay? What kind of car do you drive? Where does he live? That's the kind of things you get to see. People don't fall deeply anymore. Everybody's like, everybody don't wise, so nobody wants to, what did the guy bring it to the table? That's what's on the top of their mind. But those days, people used to fall in love deeply, as in like real love, real one. You get to write letter, love letter, and those kind of things. I still remember those days. But unfortunately, you don't see those kind of things anymore. The kind of girls you have these days are just very far from those ones. It's really very unfortunate.
Thank you so much, Charles. It's so interesting.
Social media has brought matter because you see all these things. You see everything now is open to. Like social media has changed the definition for everything. So people think that it's okay. So I mean, everybody does it. Celebrities do it. When they're heartbroken, they write songs. Then they get on social media.
I was just going to say that they're learning so much from no disrespect to the celebrities, but a lot of people are learning so much. So like you rightly says, like my 5 minutes of fame on social media, just put it out there. Trend for a bit, let it be in the public eye. But it's very unfortunate that we have lost what is important. Relationships. What you can actually build from. And then even if those relationships don't work, what you can learn from that relationship so it doesn't repeat itself in another relationship. Nobody wants to do that. Everybody is more inclined to, from day one, you already know that this is not likely to work. So how do I do it so that I am not the only one that feels the pain when anything happens?
Sometimes heartbreak. If you have like 1 billion naira, you'll be using the money to clean the tears. I'm telling you.
So let me take this comment.
You see your comment.
This is from Musa in Jos, and he says, one terrible thing is lots of us are blundering through life. We have no sense of rationality and consciousness. The truth is, if you love yourself enough and find joy within you, whoever comes into your life comes to experience joy. And when he or she leaves, you lose nothing other than just the physical being, which can be easily replaced. It's high time we start teaching each other about self-love, self-esteem, self-awareness, and consciousness. Interesting.
I think Oge is back. Let me take Oge, then I'll come back to Isi. Oge, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Aha, Clara now. Thank you for calling. Let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, so my own experience with heartbreak was, the guy's own excuse or conflict at the time was because I was so much of a good girl. So he wanted me to dress in a certain way. He wanted me to be very, following the shows that we had there, climb stage with him and all of that. And I'm like, for goodness sake, you're not married, so why would I have to flaunt myself around you? He wanted me to dress in this book, just play and all of that, And he broke up with me. And people were like asking me, what happened? I couldn't say anything meaningful. And up to date, sometimes I begin to ask myself, maybe I should have, gone the extra mile to, try to please. But how many people are going to be doing that for? So, and I've got my habit. Today I met a pastor, even a Catholic girl, So at the end of the day, God just knows that this my girl just fit into a pastor's house and all of that. But I really love the guy. But it didn't work,
But we're happy it did not work.
Very, very.
You know, I'm happy for her that it did not work
I'm
because I
very
cannot
happy.
deal with somebody that wants me to change. Thank you, Oge, for calling.
Yeah.
I can't deal with somebody that wants
Absolutely,
to.
because imagine that she had to do all of those things and this guy
It
still,
still
broke
breaks your
her
heart.
It would even be more painful, you know.
We see your comment.
Okay, my comment is from Ade, and he says, good evening, ladies. The lady must be a cheater or caught cheating by her boyfriend. She has lost her value at all levels because no man would friend her after the social media post. She's missing the third leg between men before going to her boyfriend's father. Regards.
So I think I'll just pick up on the last thing that Noma said, and the comment as well that Musa did make. It's important to be self-aware.
Yes.
It's important to be able to exert a measure of control over yourself, because the truth is, you would never react to this degree.
I think we have Akadimo. Hi, AK.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
I think that's two things to do because I made popcorn for this show today. So I want to align somehow with Uti and then Norma on the fact that people process things differently, and then you can't give what you don't have. You know, for me, this stretches back to what kind of families are these people from. And I think a viewer that sent in a message saying, look, you can't give what they don't have. You know, and the best thing you can hurt him is by doing what you know will get him. So for me, this topic just speaks to societal values. And this is what our society is made of, unfortunately. So it goes way beyond even the girl herself. The father of the boy, you can even tell, see the father of the boy that we're talking about. So you can tell from where these things and people are coming from. So having them to process their pain in a different way is a different conversation, because they will always process it different from you and I, because we're also from a different breed. So people can only do what they can.
Absolutely.
So I think
So we have some tubes. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let me read these first. So Nena says, I agree with Omalicha. She chose, that's Noma. She chose to process her pain and anger in an irrational manner. I empathize with her. She must have come from a very broken background, resulting to her poor choices. The first poor choice in this story is to accept a man that treated her so badly that led to this second really bad choice. That led to this second really bad choice. Her roots need fixing. Same with most mentally wrecked folks. So I think AK just touched on it. So I was coming from the point of being self-aware and knowing how to process your emotions. But secondly, the father that slept with the girl.
Let's go.
You don't want to go there.
Nathan from Abuja. That one.
No, because AK was talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let me take Nathan,
I
then I'll
did
come
ask
back.
that question, and you said, let's not talk about the
You don't want
father.
to go there.
I said, we no go there.
No, so it wasn't even about. So because
Nathan,
AK,
are you there?
Yes, Nathan is here. Yes.
All right, go ahead,
so,
please.
Good evening. Everybody's talking. Okay, so I think the first. Can you hear me?
Go ahead,
Yes.
please. We can hear you live.
Okay, yeah. So I think the first mistake everybody's making here is that we are judging this young lady by the same standards that we have been brought up. So I'm looking at the studio. I'm looking at four beautiful ladies. You guys probably look like, I know you are not silver spoon ladies, but four lovely, successful ladies. And then you are judging this young lady by the same standards that you would judge yourself. Not let me not use the word judging, but you are assessing her by the same standards that you would assess yourself. So one of the first things you should know is that the first caller was very right. She's street and she's down street. She is not your style. She is not within your class. So I'm seeing four goddesses, and that's not the way you should go. So you're angry with her, but I'm angry with you, because she also has her street girls that are going to sit down and advise her and tell her, do go sleep with your papa. If I find a brother, find a friend.
Uncle.
Look, the standards by which that girl is running, you have no idea. You will be baffled. She will take you to the street. You'll put you in the gutter. Like one of my bosses told me, Nathan, if you think that you can see a girl on the road, bring her into your house and clean her up. Well, Nathan, she will take you to the street. So that's the first mistake you are making. That is why I decided to call, because I was even upset with you guys. Oh. I mean, look at 4 wonderful ladies. You guys look like you came out of the sea, like Mami Wata Baba. And you can't assess her by your standard.
I get
she can bring your 4. She can bring 20 girls that will have the same conversation on TV with you, and they will tell you don't know what you are talking about.
Yeah,
because we go find your uncles, we go sleep with your own family.
True.
They are streets.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you for your contribution. It makes absolute sense. It makes absolute
Nathan's sentiments, but I would like to just address something very quickly for Nathan. We are not judging anybody. We're just having this conversation because we are trying to see what are the lessons we can draw from this. Now, somebody might see us out there and think that, that these people look gorgeous, this and that. Some of the things that you see were as a result of decisions, deliberate decisions to become who you are today.
That's why I talked about responsibility.
So at some point, there are so many people I know who came from the streets. But at some point, they decided that, you know what?
What Isi had said.
Absolutely.
I'm agreeing with you.
To what Isi said. So there's a time where you decide that I want to be
But you see,
above.
it's difficult.
I know it's difficult.
It's difficult,
right?
because, you see, we are shaped by a lot of things unconsciously.
Absolutely.
Even for the ones that they were raised in the street, they didn't do all this street madness. Something can in the future just trigger it, and all the street will just come out. Even though they were nice, so also. Do you know? So I'm trying to say that, is it possible that, yes, I agree with Nathan, it seems like we're being, based on our own upbringing and all of that, because there are some things that I would never do, no matter what. I'll come and go and look for your papa, and it doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe that is her own interpretation of revenge,
But no, so Nathan spoke well, but I think that he also, in hearing maybe some of the things that we said, maybe not heard some of the things that we did say, because we did say that clearly she wasn't parented. Clearly, nobody gave her values. Nobody gave her morals. That's, I guess, our own street way of calling her street.
Value.
I don't know.
Exactly. See, you are speaking too much English. You are just if you are just going to say Raz.
Like I think so former said Raz. Yeah, Raz. Right. So, in as much as let's leave the tush aside and just look at it generally, right? There are certain things that you look at and you know that is wrong from the onset.
So wait, but let me come to Isi, because you're the ones harping on these moral values. So do you think, so because when I hear this narrative that, we've lost our moral values, I'm saying that we did not lose it. It was never there. It's just that a lot of things were not available to expose how deeply degraded our morals were. Do you understand? So when we say we've lost our values, I don't get. Was it ever there? I'm asking.
It was there.
Okay.
It's now for you to decide whether you will take it or you leave it. It's a thing of choice. Choice is everything to me. It's what you decide to do.
You know why I'm asking this question? A lot of people do a lot of things, but they do it in secrecy. What social media has just done is has given a platform. Because some things you will see on social media, you will say, how? You understand? Because in your wildest dream, you would never have thought that thing would ever have happened, right? So those things used to happen, but there was no social media to expose it.
Even if it had happened, you wouldn't be so
proud enough
to say it with such effrontery that it's okay, and you're saying it with such gusto. Come on. It is totally wrong on all levels.
Someone has always speak too much English.
There was a time when somebody would, even if things were going wrong or going bad, but somebody would say, is this not this person's daughter? What are you doing here? Or you go home, or
But in a similar vein, what you just said, a video surfaced of a girl that gave a guy a blowjob in a club. I don't know if people saw that video. I've been seeing videos. I don't share, but I see. So this girl comes out to apologize on social media to her parents. Do you understand? To say she was sorry, that happened?
What was she
On
doing
social
when she did it?
No, that's not the
At
question.
least
She don't know where her parents are.
Why did
She don't know where her parents are.
Because it came
That's
out
what
on
I said.
social media.
No, does she not know where her parents are?
Okay.
Was she high?
That's my thing.
You see, everybody thinks that
Look.
if it doesn't come out on social media, it cannot make sense.
That's
And that's the narrative.
if it's not on social media,
That's
it's not
the
real. It
narrative
didn't happen.
that is being posed to us now. But I'm saying that is a wrong narrative. There are some things that are still left to be private. There's some things that even if you hear, but let it not be that you are the one that voiced
So
it out.
quickly, counsel to
trouble.
Gen Z.
Let me look for trouble.
Quickly.
We talked about, what was her name? Tega?
Yeah.
Big Brother. That she was married. And these things, people are watching them. Young, impressionable people are watching them.
And they're being
And
informed.
it's entertainment. They don't have anything on one side or the other to say, you know what, guys, don't do this. You don't have parents who are parenting. All these things, it all comes together and culminates in a video as you have just seen. Because it's the same, if you call it street, if you call it Raz, it's the same people that are watching these shows. So everybody we're dropping the ball somewhere and we're picking it up in the wrong place. And then we come out and we say, oh, that's what it is. We have a very real problem. The question I always ask myself today is, in future, when this generation become leaders, where are we going to be?
Uti, that's a topic for another day. There will be war. AK says, there are silver spoon born people that will still sleep with people's fathers to get at them.
Absolutely.
So it's not about being born on the streets. Do you know funny thing? Some people on the streets, they have much more decorum and values than some. So it's just who the
person and how they've been raised.
Their choices.
And their choices.
I think we've run out of time.
Really? Already?
We've run out of time. I thought we would have time, but we don't have time. But ladies, we had a fantastic conversation. Before we go, let me quickly share something. I just saw a report that United Kingdom changes travel rules for fully vaccinated travelers from Nigeria. This is good news. It says from Monday 11th of October, fully vaccinated travelers from Nigeria will be able to come to England without needing to provide a pre-departure test, undertake an 8-day test or self-isolation for 10 days. Although we'll still need to book and pay for the day 2 test.
Where's
right?
this report from?
Is the British High
Is
Commission?
it gov.uk?
Yes, British High Commission.
When I see it on gov.uk,
Okay,
I'll
so
believe it.
but if it's correct,
Watch this
if it is good news, if it's correct, it's good news for all of us. All right, so thank you, Isi, Ofodile, Namaifanga, and Uti Elu. Sadly, we didn't have time. We thought we had time for this topic, but we always never have time. All right, so before we go, I want Gen Z. Please follow us on Instagram. It's at PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, we're planning a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand. I have some wigs to give away from next week, so just look out. Follow us now. It's at PlusTvAfrica. Like, share, invite your family and friends. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Sometimes a little heartbreak is a lesson, and the best thing to do is just learn the lesson. It's as simple as that. Thank you to everyone that called, the ones that tried to call that we couldn't take your calls, all the people that sent in their messages on Tubes and WhatsApp. Thank you so much. You are the ones that keep us going, so thank you. All right, see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.